What is going on, everyone? Eagles lose a heartbreaker to the Atlanta Falcons 22-21. Talking reaction, top takeaways, player of the game, and more. Joining us, he is Shane Haff. Follow him on Twitter at Shane Haff NFL. What's up, dude?
So we're doing this all again?
Yep.
Or we just reliving the end of last season? It's going to be great.
Same as 2023. Same freaking thing. Also joining us, here's Rob Langy at Philly_Madness on Twitter. What's up, man?
Oh, that was fun, huh? That was fun. You know, I literally got up, started to figure out, all right, I'll walk down, see a drop pass. And the next thing I know, we're doing a show about a loss that just should not have been. That just should not have been. But here we are. Here we are.
Where do we go? I mean, how do we start this thing? We got to start with just this. I mean, if you followed us during the halftime show, it was basically a toss-up at that point. And then you get to the second half, and things are looking good, man. The Eagles were controlling time of possession. I think at the point of the Saquon Barkley drop, they were like 6 of 8 on 3rd and 4th downs in the second half. Saquon had like 80 yards. They were moving the ball on the ground. But I'm going to throw it to you, Shane. Was the decision to pass on that play to Saquon Barkley the right move?
No. I mean, you have been running the ball all night. You get to 3rd and 3. The Falcons are out of timeouts. Was it 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4? I can't remember now. Yeah. 3rd and 3. You get to 3rd and 3. The Falcons are out of timeouts. Just run the ball. Run the ball. If you don't get the first down, you take off 40 seconds of the clock, and then you line up and you run the ball again. You're averaging 5 yards per rushing attempt, and it's 3rd and 3. Just go get 3 yards. Let your offensive line win up front. And I mean, we can talk about the play call, and we can say it worked. It was wide open, and it was. And Barkley should have caught it. There's just simply not a scenario where the clock stops on a run up the middle. I'm sorry to interrupt. What was it worse? Then not going for it on that 4th down. Yeah, that for a team that is so analytically driven, the basic tent pole, the core tenet of analytics is don't kick a field goal to turn a 1-score game into a 1-score game. Mm-hmm. First of all, go get a first down and end the game. But second of all, what you do in that moment when you make that field goal is you are forcing the Falcons to go score a touchdown. And so you get to a situation where it's a 4th and 10 and they have to go for it and try to throw a touchdown because they don't have the option to kick the field goal. You don't want to put yourself in that situation. Just egregiously mismanaged. I have a bigger issue with kicking the field goal than I do with the 3rd down throw. And equally just pathetic defense to back it up. Where's the defense that stonewalled them the drive before and gets a 4th and 1 stop, and you just come out, no timeouts, easy completions to the sideline, out of bounds? Just, it's pathetic all the way around. I have not seen a more pathetic, blown game in a long, long time.
I don't understand why coordinators play so soft in those type of situations. Play the way you've been playing all game long. Why change it up, man? The defense was Swiss cheese on that final drive. 70 yards in 6 plays in just a little over a minute, man. We all saw it coming. Rob, was that the right move to throw the ball to Saquon in that moment?
I mean, hindsight, no, it was not. What sucks is the play call itself worked if he catches the football. But like Shane said, I mean, listen, when you look back on it, you want that clock running. Shane brings up a great point that I didn't even think about, which is, why do you even kick the field goal there? Because even if you don't get, God forbid you don't get that 4th down, you still lead by 3, but now there's 40 seconds less on the clock, and now they still were deep in their own territory and have to go down the other end of the field. But listen, okay, I understand the defense had that nice stop there in the 4th quarter. But this defense is terrible. They have 0 pass rush. Bryce Huff has been an abomination so far. I mean, tight ends are taking Bryce Huff out of the game, not just the offensive tackles, frigging tight ends. That's an issue. And it's the same old story. This game reminds me of years ago. They had a home game against the Chicago Bears. Chicago had like a minute left on the clock, no timeouts, had to go 95 yards for the win. And Chicago goes down and wins the game in the last second. Very similar to what we just saw here today. That's what this reminded me of. This team's not good enough. I mean, they're not. Not with that defense. And, look, the offense controlled the time of possession in the second half, but you've got to get some sort of pass rush from those four. And you see what happens because they can't. They blitz in that one play that Darnell Mooney gets his touchdown because they caught him on the blitz because they still couldn't get home. I mean, it's just there's and God bless this team going up against what looks like a unbelievable offense next week.
Yeah, Kamara's going to kill this team, man.
The thing about being aggressive on fourth down is you have to commit to it, because any given time it cannot go well, even if the numbers say you should go. But if you consistently do it over time, you will end up in the positive. So tell me, why are we going for it on 4th and 4 in the first quarter from the 9-yard line when a field goal would help? And then we're choosing to kick the field goal on 4th and 3 when it absolutely doesn't do anything. There's no consistency. It's like since the Super Bowl, when Sirianni punted in the 4th quarter to the Chiefs, when they haven't stopped him all game, he has been terrified to be aggressive in key situations at the end of a game. We'll do it in the first half. End of a game on the line, we'll take the coward's way. And it cost him tonight.
Yeah.
I think what's so difficult about this is you look at all the good NFC teams losing, man. This was such an important week for the Eagles, and you don't pull through. We got a lot of comments, guys. If you're watching us live, please be sure to like, subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff. A lot of talk about the pass rush. And I think big picture-wise, that's where we have to go next. I mean, I think I saw a stat during the game that Kirk Cousins only had like one completion out of the pocket tonight. The fact that he was so comfy cozy inside that pocket and carving up the Eagles all game long, it's just a straight travesty. I mean, Nolan Smith, Bryce Huff, there's got to be a discussion about Jalen Hunt tomorrow, not tonight, tomorrow, about what to do with Bryce Huff. And I don't know what they do. I mean, you look at Bryce Huff and kind of where he's come from. Like, the Eagles are trying to make him an every down guy. He didn't really play a lot against the run with the Jets. He was more of a pass rush specialist. The Eagles are getting no returns on Bryce Huff so far. No. I'll throw it to you, Rob. Like, big picture wise, what's the level of concern for the Eagles pass rush?
Oh, off the charts right now. Off the charts, because they haven't. And look, I get it. Atlanta's got a decent offensive line, but my God, think about the holes in the first half of that game for the run game first and foremost. And then you talk about the pass rush is non-existent. It's non-existent. There's nothing coming off the edge right now that gives you anything. And that's a problem because Jalen Carter is being double teamed all the time. Okay. Jordan Davis, I don't know. Maybe you guys see it differently. I think Jordan Davis plays way too high. He is way too high when he's trying to do anything. But Bryce Huff, look, you paid this guy to be your number one pass rusher. He can't get off of a tight end. That's a problem. Nolan Smith still just looks like Nolan Smith. Josh Sweat, meh. I don't. You've got to do something, and you've got to do it now. Like, you can't sit here and say, "Oh, we'll just wait till week 8 or 9 or whenever that trade deadline is." You've got to figure something out, and you've got to figure it out right now, because with that, doesn't matter how much you've improved your secondary, which on that last drive didn't look very improved, but it doesn't matter how much they're improved. Without that pass rush, you're nothing. You're absolutely nothing, and that is why I'm concerned. It's not the team as a whole. It's that microcosm, that part of the team that has me extremely concerned going forward.
It's really bad when your two best pass rushers were Milton Williams and Thomas frickin' Booker. That's an embarrassment. What about you, Shane?
Per Next Gen Stats, on average, Kirk Cousins Hold on, let me get this right. On his 30 dropbacks, Kirk Cousins had an average separation from the closest Eagles player of over 6.5 yards when he let go of the ball. Now, I totally made that up, but it's really plausible, right?
It feels like it. Like,
I mean,
it just blows my mind how they weren't able to dominate the middle of the offensive line with Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, and God damn it, just blitz somebody and get him out of the pocket. I just don't get it.
You in the last 3 seasons, the Eagles have invested 3 first-round picks into the defensive line. They re-signed Josh Sweat. They went out and signed Bryce Huff to a mega contract, and they allowed 5.5 yards per carry, and they had 1 sack of Kirk Cousins on 30 dropbacks. And the 1 sack came from a guy that was a day 2 pick that was an afterthought. Like, the pass rush is pathetic. Bryce Huff has the same number of sacks as Hassan Reddick, who is holding out from the Jets. He's got 1 tackle in 2 games. Nolan Smith has nothing as a pass rusher. Bryce Huff's so bad that they're taking him off the field in early downs because not only can he not rush the passer on late downs, he also can't play the run. There was a 2-play sequence where he legitimately got stonewalled one-on-one by a tight end for over 5 seconds on first down. And then on second down, the same tight end blocked him completely out of the play on a rundown. Bryce Huff, he looks terrible so far. Hopefully he can figure it out because they're going to need him to, because the Eagles pass rush has nothing. Josh Sweat cannot play running downs at all. He's terrible at it.
Oh my God.
So your best run defending edge is Nolan Smith. It's just pathetic. And then you sit there the entire game in nickel fronts, and you just continue to let Bijan Robinson run over you and Tyler Algier run over you, and you can't stop the run. You can't stop the pass. I think the secondary played pretty well till that last drive when Vic Fangio was like, hey, what if we just let them walk down the field instead of playing the defense we've played all day? It's pathetic all the way around. There's not a single good takeaway from the defense. And what should have been some good takeaways from the offense in terms of the running game and in terms of Jalen Hurts, who I thought played really well.
Yeah.
It's all washed out now. None of it matters.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's get into Jalen Hurts in this one. Jalen finished 23 of 30 passing, 183 yards and a touchdown. He did have that pick at the end of the game. He also had 85 yards rushing with a touchdown on 13 carries. Throw it to you, Shane, first. Like, just quick assessment of Jalen Hurts and give a grade.
Yeah, I thought Hurts played generally pretty well. There's still some instances of him getting out of pockets I would like him to stay in. And but from the back views we saw in the game, I didn't see a lot of separation early in the game. I thought this is the best that he's looked as a runner in a long time. For the love of all that's good, can we never call another RPO or read option, though? The Eagles called 3 RPOs in this game, 3 for 3 with ineligible man downfield penalties. I mean, at some point, you just keep calling them. You get lucky once, right? Anthony DeBona tweeted out during the game that the Eagles should throw the RPO section of their playbook in the trash can. And I replied and said that they did, but unfortunately they were flagged for ineligible man downfield and forced to put it back in the playbook. So I thought Hurts played well when they let him drop back and pass, and when they let him, run on his scrambles up the middle. I'll give Hurts like an A-. I thought he actually played really good in this game, and all anybody's going to talk about is that last interception where, I mean, that is what it is, but I thought he played really well.
Yeah, the only complaints, especially, and most of it was in the first half of him just running to the sidelines too much, where you see a guy like Kirk Cousins step up into the pocket, and make the throw. I'd like to see a little more of that. But I was good with Jalen Hurts for the most part. What about you, Rob?
I was really good with Jalen Hurts today. What I liked was you had a little of that old school, like he took off and made things happen with his legs. They weren't all design runs that were getting him those yards. He made some big plays on that touchdown scoring drive in the first half. That's the Jalen Hurts I like to see. And a little bit of emotion, a little bit of moxie from him. He was a little bit more fired up than what I've seen in the past. Shane's right. People are just now going to harp on that pick, which is ridiculous. I thought overall he played an A- game without a doubt. And it's unfortunate because it is going to get overshadowed by some questionable play calls and some really, really bad defense. Another play I'd like to see them get out is the bubble screen to Britton Covey because no, just no. It's like if you're trying to get 3 or 4 yards, give the ball to Saquon Barkley up the middle, not the bubble screen to Britton Covey, please. That's just my opinion.
Do you know how many receptions Jahan Dotson had tonight?
One
reception for 6 yards.
Mm-hmm.
One. I think circling back to Jalen Hurts, and we said it during the halftime show, they were not creating separation whatsoever.
No.
Jalen Hurts was on the run for his life a good part of this game because our guys could not separate, and we just need to make sure that's mentioned for sure. William says trade the picks back for Hassan Reddick. Josh Sweat is the biggest disappointment by far. I mean, he's dropping like a rock, like Bradbury in coverage, man. He looks like burnt toast in the run defense.
In the final 5 games last year, Hassan Reddick had 0 sacks and 6 tackles. Like, let's not act like Hassan Reddick was great last year.
Right.
And he wants a mega contract too. He's not playing here on that contract or he would be here.
Yeah. Danny Savage says trade for a defensive end. Edge rusher in the first round. You can just pound the table for that. The Georgia 5 is a total bust. I thought these Georgia guys were supposed to be good, man. Ain't happening. And we talked about on previous shows how Jalen Carter how vital he is to taking that next step. It's not really happening. The Saquon drop was bad, but they're not even in the game without him. I thought let's go to that next. We'll talk about Saquon. Saquon Barkley finished with 22 carries on 95 yards. He also added 21 receiving. I'll throw it to you, Rob. Quick take on Saquon. Like, watching him run is like watching Devontae run routes, man.
Yeah.
He's such a smooth runner. He's such a satisfying runner. Like, there were so many times last year where I know it's weird, but like, because we lost, but like I still am comfortable with Saquon in this offense going forward because of the element he brings that they lacked last year.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, look, he's a stud as a runner, and unfortunately, this game is going to be remembered for the drop. Whether you agree with the play call or not, ball probably has to be caught. And it wasn't, and you see what happens after that. But listen, the guy's just a stud runner. I mean, he cuts on a dime. He's smooth. Everything about the way he runs the ball is beautiful to watch. We haven't seen that a guy that could be a bell cow like that. So I mean, it's that part's exciting. It's just it's really hard to talk about any of these guys in a positive light right now because this loss was just so absolutely embarrassing at the end.
It's
and
bad.
I don't know if I've even come to grips with what the hell I just witnessed, to be entirely honest with you.
Yeah. We got a Falcons fan in the comments here saying I'm a Falcons fan and I can't believe they won that game. The Eagles prior to that third down play had a 98% win probability.
Oh my God.
After that third down play, they still had a 97% win probability. And for it to end like that, I mean, the Barkley played really well. Barkley brings a lot to the table. He had some really good runs. He had some really good reps and pass protection. He converts that third down on that little motion swing pass that I hate on like 3rd and 3, but he put his shoulder down and gets the first down and unfortunately drops that last one. And you can't have that. That seals the game. The game's over if Saquon catches that and he's wide open. Mm-hmm. Game's also over if Devontae Smith catches that one at the goal line. That one is a little bit, that's more a really good play by a safety. That one, I wouldn't, if I was charting it, I wouldn't chart that as a drop, but that's another one. Like Hurts puts the ball more out in front. The safety can't make a play on it and he doesn't. And so it's a contested catch and it's a testament to how good Devontae Smith is in contested catch situations that I was legitimately surprised when the ball came out. But in a game of inches, it all matters. And at the end of the day, when is the last time this Eagles team just beat up on an opponent?
Well,
I know the answer because I tweeted it earlier this week, but go ahead, Rob.
It's funny you say that, Shane, because thinking I was coming on here to talk about a win, I was going to come on here and say, the one frustrating thing is this team just doesn't beat up on anyone. Mm-hmm. And that was going to be my takeaway. Like, hey, nice. Yeah, you got the win. But man, this team really needs to start beating up. And I just don't think it's possible with the way that they play. And lo and behold, they end up losing the game. And now it even looks worse. Like, they listen, you get no points on that drive that honestly you got down there running the football in the first half. And then you went to pass the Britton Covey pass. Yep. To me, just keep running the friggin' football and put it in the end zone there. You had them on their heels. So there's that. There were opportunities in this game for you to put this thing away early, and you didn't take those opportunities. And here you are. You're sitting here now at 1-1, going into a really tough road game next week. But yeah, I mean, if they can't beat up on teams, they're not. I don't know if they're built to win these close games all the time, to be very honest with you.
Yeah, that needs to be their bread and butter. Like, we know this defense is going to have its ups and downs this year, and it might be more downs than ups. But like that offense, they cannot afford to make mistakes like that, to make drops like that in these crucial situations. They're just not built for that.
Yeah, the last time the Eagles won a game by more than a possession was last year against the Dolphins. At 12 straight games that they have either lost or that they've won by less than a possession. You can't make a living doing that. Like when you're in a one possession game, all of a sudden one dropped pass makes you lose a game. One busted coverage and you lose a game. Just go beat up on a team. You're playing a quarterback that can't move with an offensive line that got obliterated last week. Go dominate a game. And the Eagles do not do that. They have not done that in almost a calendar year. And if you continue to play these close games, you're going to continue to squeak by some weeks and you're going to lose heartbreakers the next week. And that's what the Eagles have been for the last year. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the Eagles playing down to their competition. You lose A.J. Brown for this game, and that sucks. There's a lot of teams that would love to have a top two offensive weapons option of Devontae Smith and Saquon Barkley. You got to go put points on the board. You've got to go be able to get stops. And you couldn't do it. And you cannot continue to play games like this. Eventually, you have got to stop playing to the level of your competition, or we're just going to do this all year again.
Yep.
News alert: the Eagles do not have a TJ Watt on this defense. So
yeah,
there's only like one other team in the NFL that has an equivalent player. So
that was, and now we talked about it on Birds of the Round Table and Party on Broad. The Eagles pass rush versus this Falcons O-line, and getting Kirk Cousins rattled inside that pocket. That was the difference. Any other takes before we get into our Eagles player of the game?
The only take I'm going to see, just looking at some of the comments, and it's only happened a couple of times, but we're all under the impression that Kellen Moore calls the plays now, right? Like that's not up for debate, right?
Right.
Because here we are again. Now it's still all Sirianni's fault. Now I agree with what Shane said. Sirianni makes the call to kick the field goal, not go for it on fourth down. But guys, you can't blame this guy for everything. Okay, like he didn't drop the pass. He didn't decide to play that defense at the end of the game. And honestly, I actually thought towards the end of the game he was coaching it pretty well. Like when he declined the offsides penalty when they tried to give the Eagles the first down before the 2-minute warning or whatever it was. I thought, just relax. It wasn't a great game by him, obviously, but the players lost this game today. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. The players did everything they could to lose this game, specifically on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah. Shane, any final thoughts before we roll
on? No, I'll sit on it for a while.
All right, let's get into our Eagles player of the game. Eagles player of the game. Shane, lead us off, man. Who you going with?
I would give it to Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, but he already retweeted the Eagles tweeting his celebration after the 4th down stop, and that's one of the biggest loser moves that I've ever seen from an athlete. So I'm not giving it to Chauncey Gardner-Johnson because we're talking about how cool our celebration is on Twitter after we just blew a game like this. So I'll give it to Devontae Smith. 7 catches, 76 yards, a touchdown. I thought he played good. I wish he could have brought that one in at the goal line, but that one he got in the back of the end zone was a great snag. So Devontae Smith, player of the game for me.
Yeah, Devontae had a solid game. What about you, Rob?
I'm going to go with the guy I picked before the game, and we all said I think he played well, Jalen Hurts. I think he got back to running the football a little bit, to controlling the game. I thought he was making, for the most part, good decisions. He left the pocket a little bit too early, and people are going to try and harp on that pick. He had a guy slamming him as he threw that ball. I don't know why they felt the need to go deep there, but that's besides the point. I thought overall Jalen Hurts played a decent, a good enough game for this team to win, and unfortunately, it's marred in despair at this point.
Yeah, this is a hard one, Marshawn. I'm going to go with Milton Williams, showing some sort of life for this Eagles pass rush. He's a guy that probably needs to start getting more playing time. And that's all I could think. I can't give it to Saquon with that drop. I just can't. Yeah. It's just too brutal. Let's roll on to our grades for tonight. All right, Rob, how would you grade tonight?
An F. I mean, I'm sorry. This is like one of those things where it's too soon for me to like try and think analytically about how I could go about doing this. This is one of those losses that now I'm going to go upstairs after we finish the show, and I'm just going to stew over it in my head as I'm just staring at stupid friggin' videos to try and make me laugh on Facebook and Instagram of like old comedy sketches, because I need something to just, I got to block out everything that is sports for the next while. I'm not going to bed anytime soon now. Like, I could have went to bed and slept nice and soundly if they get out of there with a victory. Now my night's ruined. So because of them, these bastards, I was sick all week last week. I finally started feeling good on Sunday, and now I feel sick again. So screw you guys. You get an F from me.
Even the strength of the team, the secondary, they were missing tackles left and right. Like that, whether it was Slay or Blankenship or
where was Slay looking on that touchdown pass to London? Jesus Christ. I don't know if he ever even looked at Drake London. He was just looking in the backfield the whole time.
Yeah, that was a bad look. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not buying the CJ Gardner-Johnson hype. I'm just not. I'm not there yet. Yeah, that tackle he had on that one play was crucial, but I'm not buying it, man. He's a clown. Shane, what's your grade?
And it's tough because, all that matters is you lost. And I would have otherwise said the offense played pretty good, but I'll give it like a D-. The defense, regardless of the fact only 22 points were put up, the defense was pathetic all game long. Can't get pushed around by the run like that. Can't give up that long drive. I'll give it like a D-.
Jalen Hurts, hero ball. Why do defenses play him like that's what they do? They stack the box. They make him beat teams with his arm. And we said this at the beginning of the show. I thought the receivers really struggled getting open today, and the loss of A.J. Brown was there. And by the way, A.J. Brown's here. What's up, A.J. Brown? Saying the entire defense got cooked.
He's apparently out, not just tonight. Apparently he told Lisa Salters he's out for a couple weeks. So here we go.
Joe Mark says Zach Bond is my MVP. He was everywhere on the field. I think our over-under for tackles for Zach Bond was 9.5. And today
he had 37.
He had 9.
I win. I picked the under.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious. Can we get a tackling coach to teach them how to rap? especially there was a one possession where the Eagles probably missed 4 or 5 tackles. It was just brutal. They were flying around whiff, another whiff. Marshawn says, Jalen, we needed 3, and he went for the big money there. How are we about to draft a quarterback in 2025?
Wait, are they saying that like this? They're saying Jalen didn't check into that. That was the play. I don't remember anybody coming to the line and checking into that play.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed it on 3rd and 3 there where he passes to Barkley.
No, that Nick said in the conference that, or in the post-game conference at the podium, that basically if it wasn't wide open, Hurts was supposed to sit down to take the sack, run the clock, and kick the field goal.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Which is also just stupid that you're planning on 3rd down to kick a field goal on 4th down. But
yeah.
All right.
Boy.
Let's do, I guess, a fun segment for tonight. Our Eagles game 3 words or less. Eagles 3 words or less. I'm going to lead it off. I never get to lead off these things. I actually have one off the top of my head. Bench Bryce Huff. He's giving you absolutely 0. 1 tackle in week 1. I don't even know what he had tonight, but pretty much the only highlights from Bryce Huff so far through 2 weeks, the dude is just flopping on the ground. He is not ready. I don't know what he needs to do to get himself going this season, but he's just not there. Give it to Jalix Hunt. Let's see what we got in Jalix, who showed, I thought, way more flashes than him during the preseason. At least we know Jalix Hunt can drop back in coverage, and he's an excellent athlete. He could probably defend the run even better than Bryce Huff. So bench Bryce Huff, man. He stinks. What about you, Shane?
I'm going to go with incompetent situational football. Just everything about the last 2 minutes is all things that you should be thinking through on a chalkboard, in a locker room, and in a coach's office during the week. It was pathetic. So incompetent situational football for all the reasons I mentioned earlier.
All right. We have Brett Eclipse saying Nick Foles disgraced. Travis is saying fumbled the bag. Marshawn saying free Saquon Barkley. Brett Eclipse saying AJ get well. That's a really good one. Did you see them break the news tonight that he's going to be out another week as well? I didn't know that was public info.
Well, and they just like said it so nonchalantly, and then like Troy Aikman's like, I guess he's out another couple weeks too. It's like, can we go back to what Lisa Salters just friggin' said on air live? Like, what the hell's going on here?
We have a bench Jalen Hurts.
Oh my God.
My goodness. 250 million mistake.
Unbelievable.
We got a few coming in on Twitter too. We had Winston says, well, that sucked. And then Josh stole / improved upon his answer and said that really sucked. We've got a fire Nick Sirianni coming in from Joel.
You saw that coming. I talked about that this afternoon.
Yeah, we got another fire Nick Sirianni from Garrett. So lots of angst on Twitter for sure. Every week, you guys be sure and go over to the Eagles Pin Poll Twitter account and tweet your 3 words at us. So even if you're not watching live, it's too late. You're an old person that needs to go to bed and listen on the drive into work in the morning, you can still be represented on the show. So be sure you do that every week.
I said at 5:30 this afternoon, if the Eagles lose today, it will not take long for the first fire Nick Sirianni, regardless of if it was him or not. And lo and behold, all it took was our 3 words or less segment. By the way, mine is just very simple. That just happened. There's nothing we can do about it. That just happened. You have to live with that now for 6 days until they got to go face this team that is blowing the doors off of every opponent on Sunday. That just happened. Unbelievable. Oh, my God. I'll be up till 5 a.m. now. Jesus Christ.
All right, Nate, some final comments here before we wrap up tonight's program. Nathan says end game management is inexcusable. That is his job, literally all he does. Shane, give hope. My gosh.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely. There's a lot of bad language in the chat tonight. I can't show it.
It is rated R in that chat tonight.
Did Jalen Carter get hurt in the first quarter and miss the rest of the game or something? I did not notice him at all. One tackle, never noticed him on the field. What are we doing? Like, where was he? Did he play? Like, I'm legit serious. Did he tweak a hamstring and not play very much? I didn't notice him at all. I did not notice Jordan Davis beyond that pass breakup, the pass he batted down. I think it was on the opening drive. I'll tell you who I did notice. Thomas Booker.
Yes.
Thomas Booker had a good game.
Yes.
He made some splash plays. It's really sad that Booker outplayed Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis from the initial view. Maybe I'll be wrong.
Yeah, that was one
I
of my
didn't notice those
again.
guys at all.
That was one of my notes again, where thinking they were going to win, I was going to be like, man, let's talk about the Thomas Booker game. And shit.
You see, Rob, your big mistake was that you keep your notes for the post game in that Google Doc you forgot you shared with me a couple of years ago, and I just steal your stuff.
I did not try and be positive, Marshawn. I am not positive right now. I am trying not to say the words that you're all writing in the chat. That's what I'm trying to do right now.
Yeah. Cameron's right. Jalen Carter did have that one pressure that got him out of the pocket and forced an incompletion. But outside of that, there wasn't a lot. I meant when I said it at the start of the show, like Thomas Booker and Milton Williams were your two best defensive linemen tonight, and that's inexcusable.
It's almost like we talked about Bryce Huff being blocked by a tight end, so that just meant that the tackle didn't even have to block Bryce Huff. He just doubled down on Jalen Carter all day because obviously Bryce Huff can't get around a freaking tight end. That's a really good point.
We made a lot of fun of Kyle Shanahan for blocking Hassan Reddick with a backup tight end, but maybe he was onto something. You know, you're never, as we say in the business, you're never wrong. Just early.
Yeah.
This is a really good comment. Noom says Fangio's whole philosophy is too passive. Yeah, that's going to be the test. I think that's a pretty agreed upon take, is that a lot of people don't really buy into the bend don't break Fangio defense.
I texted it to somebody during the game. I texted my father during the game and I said, I got to be honest with you. I don't think I can watch this bend but don't break all season where they just gash you up and down the field, because eventually a good team's going to put it in the end zone and not have to just kick field goals the whole goddamn time. Oh, God. I don't know.
Then you dial up a pressure and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson just whiffs one of the worst tackle attempts you've ever seen, which is, by the way, the second week in a row he's given up a huge touchdown, missing a tackle. Mm-hmm. But
Davey says Jordan Davis sucking on the oxygen canister after 5 snaps.
Yep, I saw that too.
Have we even seen Jordan Davis since he chased Josh Allen?
No.
To that
well,
sideline?
you could see him because
rumors are he's still chasing Josh Allen.
He has zero leverage when he's rushing, and he's higher than everybody else. He's standing straight up, so you could see him. He's just not doing anything.
The one deflection was nice. We never get deflections on the defensive line. I was happy about that in the first half, but it's not enough. It's just not enough.
Still love me some Quinion. I will say that. Still love me some.
Yeah,
Quinion.
he got beat a couple times.
That's going to happen. But he also made a couple nice plays. I thought he had that pick early in the game. That would have been huge.
Chris Lindstrom neutralized Carter. Yeah, you're right. He's one of the best guards in football. We should apologize to Sean Desai. Vic cannot save this defense.
Marshawn's trying to go at your heart right now, Dibes. Marshawn is
one of the big storylines was who's going to play the slot. Looked like Devontae got most of the snaps, not Rodgers. Bryce Huff legit stealing money. Booker needs to get a sack and do the spinneroni. Is that what it is? Spinneroni? I don't know. What's wrong with Bryce Huff? Where was the pass rush that entire last drive?
I'll tell you what's wrong with him. He stinks. That's basically what's wrong with him. He stinks.
He looks like he's in the wrong defense. That's just my take. Is that the Vic Fangio defense is too much for him, and they're asking too much of it.
I don't know. It doesn't look like they're asking much of anything from him.
Really?
To be honest, I mean,
I haven't looked at the tape like you, but like he doesn't look like a 3-down edge rusher.
no, he does not.
Nope.
All those picks and money, and you get a bad defensive line.
I love the way you just edited that for everyone.
Georgia boys all bust. Miss Sidney Brown.
Oh my God! Stop it.
Um,
No, I read that wrong. Never mind. Yes, I agree. I read that wrong. I read a different Sydney when you said that in my head.
I'm sorry about Quinyon in a passive deep. I mean, that's what Quinyon is. He's a guy that can play 10 yards back and click and close. That's what he does.
Quinyon had to everybody that always complains about playing off coverage, is like 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 5, and you play 10 yards off. And why do you do that? Go watch that first pass breakup that Quinyon Mitchell had, because it's teach tape on playing off coverage. I think it was a 3rd and 5. He's 10 yards off. He's sitting there. He knows where the sticks are. He knows there's like a 90% chance the route's breaking in or out at the sticks. And as soon as he sees it, he drives down on it and breaks it up at the catch point. Like, it's teach tape. That's what Quinyon is so good at. And I think they got Quinyon a little bit tonight, but I still think Quinyon had a good performance, and I'm excited to go back and watch him. I just think he's going to be really good, and that was one example. While we're talking about like passivity, like being in off coverage doesn't always mean you're being passive. And it's a technique Quinyon is very, very good at, and it's something you're going to see him do a lot.
Hurts doesn't have that it factor. The decision-making in the last 2 minutes of the game seems to be questioned. I disagree with that. I agree the first game, he had a couple of bad, 2 to 3 bad plays.
And look, he listen, I love to go back and see the play, because I feel like he may have had the receiver open and he got hit, which disjointed the throw a little bit. But he threw 2 passes, guys. It's not like and one was a really good throw to Dallas Goedert over the middle.
Jalen Hurts in his final 5 drives of the game that did not have less than 35 seconds on the clock, he went 11 plays, 70 yards to score a touchdown at the end of the second quarter. 11 plays, 59 yards for a field goal. 17 plays, 70 yards for a touchdown. 11 plays, 29 yards for a field goal. Like, every drive, the last 4 drives of the game, barring a kneel down with 5 seconds left and barring a 34 seconds, we've got to try to get into field goal range, which, by the way, means pushing the ball downfield into coverage. He led 4 scoring drives. I don't know what more you want from the guy. Jalen Hurts is not the reason. There's a lot of people you can blame.
Phil, are you okay?
Oh, tell us, Phil, blink twice if you're okay, dude.
There's a lot of people you can blame for this loss. Jalen Hurts has no culpability in this loss. And if you're trying to say that he does, you're trying to push an agenda that you've never liked Hurts to begin with.
I was going to say you had made that decision before this game, if that's what you're trying to push right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need another comment from Phil.
No lie.
I think he's had too many like pina coladas.
He is saying I am okay in the chat. I see an I am okay.
Okay, good. All right, good.
But blood is everywhere. I would like. I feel like we need a picture.
All right. Steven says Jalen was fine. Bad decision making from coaches, just like last year. Yeah, that's just like 2023. That's the my 3 words or less for the Birds. Let's wrap it up. Rob, final thoughts on this one. Plugs, Tom's yours.
Final thoughts is I just want to thank the almost 3,000 people who tuned in after that miserable game to hear us rant for 45 minutes. Final thoughts are, this is a bad one. When I came on this afternoon and tried to tell people to stay calm, even if they were to lose a game, I didn't think it was going to be lost in this realm. This changes things a bit. And you might be staring right down the hole of a 1-2 record. When you had an opportunity to maybe get a leg up on the rest of the NFC, and now I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a lot of work you need to do in 6 days before going up against a team that's put up 40 points back-to-back weeks. So,
yeah, here we are, and they're gonna have the resiliency tested right here against a lights-out offense.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens, man. Shane, plugs, final thoughts. Time's yours,
man. All of you that are watching here live, thanks for tuning in. Be sure you go subscribe to the Eagles Pin Pull Network. This podcast audio will be dropping on there, and we've got 5 other weekly shows that are long form shows. We've got daily update shows, so be sure you go subscribe to that. And yeah, I mean, the Eagles are in a tough spot now. They wasted a prime opportunity to gain a game on the Cowboys, on the 49ers, and on the Lions, who all lost this weekend. And instead they squandered it in the home opener. And now you have to go on the road on a short week to the Superdome to face a Saints team that's got like a plus 62 point differential right now. And so it's a tough spot for the Eagles to be in. They're going to have to rebound quickly, and they're going to have to get ready to go beat the Saints. And I don't think that's going to be an easy job because the Saints are looking really good this season. You got the Buccaneers the week after, who are also 2-0. So it gets harder from here, especially if A.J. Brown is out. So hopefully they can get it together fast.
Man, it is pretty doom and gloom in our chat tonight, understandably. But thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll be back tomorrow night, or I guess tonight. It is past midnight for Birds of the Round Table, as well as Armchair Scouts, previewing college football week 4. I think we're in now. I don't even know. But takeaways from this Eagles-Falcons matchup, and then we're going to preview Eagles versus Saints. And I already picked my matchup for the week. It's the Eagles pass rush versus Derek Carr. I think that's a pretty good choice. So that is 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. Tuesday night. We'll see you then. Shane at Shane_NFL. He is Rob at Philly_Madness. I am Dabs, Mr. Crockpot. We'll see you on the next one. Stay awesome, everyone.